Hello and welcome to day 8 in the 4 Bodies Challenge. I didn't post yesterday because I was traveling from Bali to Malaysia. I'm now in Kuala Lumpur, so hello from Kuala Lumpur. Honestly, full disclosure, I just wasn't organised enough, and when I arrived to my hotel I was exhausted. So we had a day off yesterday, but we're back with a mental body practice today. Last time we spoke about the mental body, I was explaining this concept of looking at it in these 2 ways. So getting out of our head, getting out of our mind, because we need to have methods to find relief from our mind, especially when we're overthinking. And there's also so much power in creating space between our thoughts. And the other side of it was, what are we putting into our mind? So we need methods to get out of our mind, and we need methods to put into our mind. In other words, program our mind with the beliefs and the thoughts that are going to move us in the direction of our desires. So today is a practice to help us with that reprogramming. So basically what this comes down to is, what are we choosing to put into our mind? What thoughts are we choosing? What things are we choosing to say out loud? What are we choosing to allow into our consciousness in the form of what we watch and the media that we consume and the conversations that we have? Ultimately, we do have a choice. And the thing that brings us choice is actually the other part of this, the mindfulness aspect. So the more aware we are, the more we can view our thoughts and then make better choices. So what are you programming your mind with currently? If you're not sure, look around you and look at your reality, because everything up until this moment has been because of the choices that you've made. So when you look around you and you look at your reality, the good things, the things that don't feel so good, or the unwanted things, these are all down to you and your choices. And a lot of that comes from the choices that you're making in terms of your thoughts, because that is manifesting as your feelings and your actions. It can be hard to look at your reality and think, well, there's something here that I don't like or don't want, and then take responsibility for that. That can be a really hard pill to swallow, but it's also empowering, because it means that you are actually ultimately in control of creating and crafting your life and your reality from this moment on. And there's no point in guilt tripping yourself for having the thoughts or the beliefs that haven't served you, because you didn't consciously choose them. But from this moment on, you can take back that power and you can start choosing. An affirmation really doesn't have to be that complicated. It's simply a statement that you're saying about yourself or about the world or about somebody else. So any statement, good or bad, is you affirming to yourself what you're experiencing or what you believe. Often we think of affirmations as I am statements. These are really powerful. Marissa Peer says, what follows I am follows you. So it's really, really important to get conscious about the choices that you're making after these words, I am, because that is programming what you believe about yourself and the person that you are. And actually, reality is reflecting back to you who you believe yourself to be. A lot of people will tell you that if you don't have the belief or the feeling or the energy behind your I am statement or whatever other affirmations you are using, then they are pointless. But I completely disagree with that, because it can be very difficult in the beginning to actually fully get behind some of your new thoughts or your new beliefs. But I can guarantee you that choosing this thought over here, which is more positive and more empowering and more in line with where you're going and who you're choosing to be and your desires, whether or not you believe it in this moment, whether or not it feels great to you, is going to be a lot better than this thought over here, which represents something that you don't want, or a version of you that does not believe in where you are going. So choosing this better thought is always going to take you closer to where you want to go. It's also important to know that this thought might not have that immediate impact on how you're feeling. You might not be able to see those results straight away in your life, but this is how it is. It's about the small things that you're doing daily. It's about accumulating over time, building momentum, because I promise you, if you just choose one new thought every single day, If you choose this thought over this thought when you look in the mirror, this thought over this thought when you go to the gym, this thought over this thought when your coworker or your partner or your friend is irritating you in some way, I promise you that if you do that for a whole year, that is going to accumulate, and you're going to look back in a year's time and be like, oh, I actually feel very differently about that thing than I did a year ago. And even if the thought does not seem to be doing anything in that moment, I promise you a commitment to it, a devotion to making that choice over and over again. It's in the little details. It's always in these small choices. And in the moment, it can feel like it's not that important, like it's not going to make that much of a difference. But it really is the secret. It's the little things, the little choices. So I want you to get really, really conscious and present with yourself when you're making these choices, when you're having these thoughts about yourself or the world around you, because it's these in the moment thoughts that are actually the most powerful. It's amazing to sit down and have a journaling practice where you work on this stuff. This is also so powerful. But the in the moment shifting from this thought to this thought, from this perspective to this perspective, choosing this belief over this one, this is where your power lies. And this is when you start to fully integrate and fully embody it. Today we are playing with something called lofty questions. And this term or this idea was introduced by a lady called Christy Marie Sheldon. And these are why questions, and they work similar to affirmations, but they just have a different impact on our mind and on our subconscious. And it's important to realize that there are so many different methods for programming our mind and our mental body and changing our beliefs and our thoughts. And what works for me might not work as well for you. So that's why I want to introduce you to lots of different practices throughout this challenge so that you can get real about what works for you, because we're all so different. So this is something that we're going to play with, we're going to explore, we're going to experiment with today. And I think it's so much fun. And for me, when I discovered this recently and started playing with it, I was like, this feels so much fun. It feels playful. And it actually helps me to get into that state of believing in these things more than the traditional I am statements. That's not to say that it will be the same for you. So I want you to get curious when you're doing these practices, and this is an opportunity to connect into your emotional body as well when you're doing this, and notice how it feels. Maybe you can play around with some I am statements and then play around with some lofty questions and just see how your emotional body is responding to each one of these. This is always an exploration and finding out what works for you, because ultimately you are your own coach. You are the master of your mind and of your emotions, and you actually have the power. So I'm here to guide you, to give you ideas, to give you ways to get creative and explore. But ultimately, I want you to be the one that is feeling into all of these different practices and finding out what works for you. So what does a lofty question look like? Let's say, for example, that you have these areas of your life that you want to work on. You want to improve your health, you want to improve your bank balance, you want to maybe get a promotion. Perhaps you just want to feel better in your body. Maybe you have some fitness related goals. So these questions might look like this. Why is it that I wake up every single day and I'm so excited to go to the gym and work out? Why is it that my body looks like the body of an Olympic athlete? Why is my bank balance so healthy all the time? Why does money flow to me so easily and effortlessly? Why do I feel so healthy, alive, and excited when I wake up in the morning? Why are my relationships getting better every single day? Why am I attracting amazing men that want to respect me and shower me with love? Why do I keep getting younger, more beautiful, healthier and stronger every single day? So these are just some ideas that maybe I have played around with a little bit and things that have just come through now. But I already feel better just saying those things out loud because it's fun and it's playful. Like it just feels like, it feels very lighthearted. It's almost like an inner child practice because it's a little bit silly, but it feels more real. There's not the same, sometimes there's more resistance I feel for me with the traditional affirmations. And the less resistance, the better. So I hope you have enjoyed this little video, and I really hope you enjoyed creating some lofty questions of your own. I'm going to put some of my examples in the description below and just some categories for you to maybe explore, but just sit down and think about your desires, what it is that you want to change and call in, and then have fun playing with some lofty questions. Thank you so much, sending you love from Kuala Lumpur, and I will see you tomorrow for day 9.